Ladies and gentlemen, kits and grats, we are back with some more DoW2 the Elite mod. I know it's been a little while. I took an entire week off after MagFest. I kind of underestimated how wiped I would be after that event, but we're back on here. Of course, I am none other than Red-Rupee. Let's take a look at our players for today. We've got Crewfinity on the blue side as the Warboss with a bit of a delayed start there, maybe giving Evil Wizard, a player who I'm not very familiar with, but love seeing new players on the scene, as the Kommando Nob. An Ork mirror, I know, and I know some of you folks don't care for mirrors, but hey, I'm the caster, you've got to deal with the games I want to watch. Anyways, I don't think there's a more fitting faction to be battling itself other than the Orks. Perhaps that Kommando Nob is looking for a little upgrade in his title and wants to take down that big ol' honkin' boss. As far as the matchup goes here, I think really that the Warboss kind of has the edge here, but I think with the appropriate support and maybe playing a bit more of the ranged battle, the Kommando Nob can certainly win this out himself. There's a lot of potential in those stun bombs, those AoE abilities, those sneaky sluggers that he can use later on. I do question Evil Wizard's choice to go for the double slugger boys here in the start. He is playing a bit of a more aggressive capping game. He's going right for the victory point, taking that contested power on the far side. And I'm not sure what Crewfinity is actually holding out for here. Perhaps going straight for generators, so perhaps double slug it into immediate storm boys or lootas. I don't commonly see a two-squad build for the slugger boys from Orks, so we'll have to see how this plays out. It's going to give Evil Wizard a definite edge, I feel like, in the starting engagements, but maybe I spoke too soon because the shooter boys already found themselves on the wrong end of some mean old sluggers. Kommando's doing a good job of not necessarily putting out a lot of damage, but just stalling for time here, making sure that Warboss doesn't do much. He did get the node up on the power, and in return is bashing this completely defenseless gen farm. There's one squad of slugger boys here to respond, but there's two squad. This is just a one-on-two battle, and that's not a battle you can win. So really, like, an excellent opening, I think, despite the lost shooter boys there from Evil Wizard. He's got a good grasp on map control. He's gonna get a big win here in the form of this nice early aggression here. The gen bash going down from both slugger boys, now both upgraded with their burners as well, so if there was any chance in a single squad winning here, but the storm boys have been purchased. Those generators were down for just long enough, and oh man, already used your choppers going down here. But I think ultimately, the squads are going to be okay. They'll take maybe a couple models lost. Looks like the Warboss managed to rout up top as well. But all things considered, a strong opening from Evil Wizard. He's even got a bit of a victory point deficit, but that's just now starting to turn around here. But 20 points, 20 to 50 points here isn't going to be a big deal. There is the potential for that triple cap going down since Crewfinity forced the full retreat at both ends of the map, but the Kommando and his shooter boys should be able to take this northern point back relatively easily. The Warboss is up front, but pretty well beat up along with slugger boys over here. There is enough range damage, yeah, I think, to at least rout the Warboss, and I'm sure with the Kommando Nob's help, those lone slugger squad isn't going to do too much either. So, oh man, Crewfinity actually getting Painboy on the field quickly as well. So let's see. Early power went down. It got knocked out, so that's a bit of a, I guess, a deficit there for Crewfinity. But he does control at least one of those central points. Oh no! I can never finish my thought because there's always something happening. Stormboy's now on these sluggers, probably going to pretty easily. Yeah, they retreated just in time to avoid that special attack. And Stormboy's now out for Evil Wizard as well. I don't know if I agree with the idea of trying to beat a Warboss Ork army in melee. So long as the Warboss has the red, those melee squad global powers, both hard boys and use your choppers, kind of definitively win melee fights. If you don't have enough range support to kind of negate a lot of that potential damage, I'd expect to see maybe some lootas or something like that. I feel like lootas with the Kommando Nob would be really solid, because even if the storm boys jump in, they get stunned by a stun grenade. But we'll see how it goes here. Let's see. Will these storm boys be able to clean up the mess right here? There's a lot of melee out here. Heals going down, but it's just not quite enough. Oh my gosh, Stormboy's losing 4 models. That's a lot of bleed early on. Stun Grenade takes out everything on the field and forces a full retreat from that Warboss army. Crewfinity had no choice but to fall back there. He could have tried to stick it out, maybe for just a moment, but all things considered, I think that's, with 2 squads of sluggers coming in on you, even if one was stunned, that's not a battle you want to be sticking around on the field for. Warboss still playing the solo game, keeping pressure on the western side of the map while the entire mid-zone here, all of these resource nodes starting to get decapped, with the exception of that requisition down there that the Storm Boys are able to hold down for the time being. Shuda's actually heading into this little garrison here, these oft-overlooked garrisons here down by the point. Storm's again getting that Warboss Global, and it doesn't look like the Sluggers are actually responding in time. Let's see, there are a couple lead models that should be able to escape, yep, but it's just going to be the 2 that head home. Meanwhile, Painboy on the field again. We're just seeing a largely mirrored battle here so far. The only difference, Evil Wizard with his 2 ranged squads is Kommando Nob and his Storm Boys there to put a little pressure on that melee, entirely melee army we're seeing from Crewfinity. Let's take a look at the generator incomes right now. It's actually completely even up because despite that early victory by Crewfinity, by Evil Wizard hasn't managed to keep his own gen farm up either. He has managed to keep this for the entirety of the match, so that's at least been something to even up the fact that he lost the 1 generator up top. But it's all in all pretty even up as far as resources go. The only difference being that the map is starting to look particularly blue. Red team only really holding on to this natural requisition and this lone power node on the far side. Potentially losing a squad over here. Oh dear, that's 1 squad down for Evil Wizard. The 1 squad difference has now been eliminated. Crewfinity says, I want a true mirror. Let's get these shooter boys out of here. Wants nothing to do with it. Painboy and Sluggers made short work of that. But it looks like it's all hands on deck on the eastern victory point for Evil Wizard. Crewfinity has a couple squads over here, but he's not going to be able to stick around for long. Even with that heal from the Painboy, that's still 3 squads on essentially 1 squad and a support unit. The singular model of the Painboy, not quite enough to deal with all these folks over here. 348 to 435, and the victory points were completely nulled there for just a moment. But everything's kind of quiet for the time being. Both sides just kind of harassing power. It's going to be a 2nd gen bash now for Evil Wizard, but Crewfinity has just bled so little. He's been very efficient in his battles. He's retreated off the field a few times, but he's done so in an efficient manner. He's pulled, like, since Evil Wizard's kind of moving around as a blob, these singular squads have been kind of forcing things off the map, but not really causing any real damage to Crewfinity. The most he's done is actually take out these gen farms right now, but considering that Crewfinity's been holding all the requisition, you can see all 3 of those now fully matured on the field. So let's see, it's actually, wow, almost a 100 requisition difference as far as income right now. It was the Painboy in a lot of trouble. Not quite getting taken down there. But let's see, I mean, the difference, surprisingly, despite 2 gen bashes from Evil Wizard, Crewfinity sitting on almost 700 requisition. There's been a lot of bleed on the side of Evil Wizard. We saw in that very first engagement, 4 out of 5 Storm Boys went down, and then we saw a couple times 1 or 2 Slugger Boys, and then of course the Shooters that ultimately perished there in the end. However, Evil Wizard has managed to get to Tier 2 ahead of Crewfinity. Crewfinity just recently hit the button. Special Shooter coming out here shortly, which is going to be a big impact in these melee fights because it's a nice big AoE blast that also knocks back. You can see level 2 Storm Boys facing off against level 1. They actually only lost the melee special there because they were falling back. They actually lose that melee skill when they're on the move, allowing the lower squad to actually get the damage down there. Let's see. Oh my goodness. That combat jump, not quite enough. The special shooter does enough to, at least on appearance alone, scare off that squad. Oh, and User Choppas goes down, but it was unfortunately timed as there was a Sluggaboy Nob hitting the field at just the improper moment, even with that User Choppa buff. Unupgraded Sluggaboys can't tangle with that Slugga Nob, especially with the backup of a Painboy right now. Kommando Nob trying to do some damage, kiting around with the Sluggaboy squad, getting a stun bomb down. A little drop micro there. You could have these second squad of Sluggas flanking right now. I'm not sure this is a wise engagement. This is a bit of everything on everything right now. Heroes, Painboys, and Sluggas all facing off with a flanking squad coming in from behind. Not looking good for the blue squad, though. It may even go down. One more quick shot, maybe. They do manage to finish it off. That Nob goes down on retreat, leaving just the Warboss and the Painboy, but all things considered, against an injured Sluggaboy squad, that's about all that needs to be. Crewfinity losing one of those Sluggas, not hesitating to get it right back either. Let's see. So this Sluggaboy squad isn't getting its Nobs and does have two approaching melee squad flanking. I'm not sure why it's sticking around right now. He must be distracted with that Warboss fight. But Sluggas do manage to get the heck out of there. Or maybe I spoke too soon, because with that combat jump, oh, the Warboss is gonna finish it. One big stomp. Oh my gosh, he stomped instead of attacking. He could have just attacked. 4 HP. Oh man, 4 HP on that squad. Very fortunate there for Crewfinity, who kind of, I think, lost his micro while he's trying to kite the Warboss around up north. Left a Slugga squad here a few seconds too long. Could have definitely been a squad wipe. But unfortunately, Crewfinity made a slightly wrong choice in trying to get that Warboss stomp there instead of just going for the melee attack. Trucks are now hitting the field. One on the field already for Evil Wizard. A second one coming in as the scuffle just... These battles are just such a mess. Everyone's just going in all melee all the time. This is what I want to see from an Orc fight. Unfortunately, these blue team Orcs, Crewfinity, not going to be able to deal with anything as far as this truck right now. Even if he were to win the engagement, he could keep reinforcing. Evil Wizard does have to be careful, though, if he chooses to kind of engage that way. He needs to get these requisition points under his control, or at least decapped, because all the damage he's doing to Crewfinity is just stacking against him as far as the map control goes. It is a bit more even up now. I think it's only a requisition deficit of 30 per minute in favor of Crewfinity. But it still adds up. 310 to 312 with a 2-0 cap. About to be a 3-0 cap against Crewfinity, putting the Warboss on a bit of the back foot here. I was saying that there's no real way to beat the Warboss in melee, but we haven't seen those globals used to strong effect. A couple of the times we've seen them have been in kind of already losing situation. You want to use those globals when you're in a winning situation to win harder or get a squad wipe, or turn kind of an even situation in your favor. And this is actually a really good engagement right now for Evil Wizard, so long as he manages to not lose too much, although that truck's getting very surrounded right now. But every second he lasts in here, oh my gosh, that Painboy, is it going to make it through? Oh, it'd be such a mistake if he let the Painboy escape. The Sluggers were moving in, but the truck is interrupting their pathing. The truck, however, I don't think is going to be as fortunate as the Painboy. That Slugga Nob doing some pretty serious damage. I cannot believe that everything of Evil Wizard managed to get out of there. Oh, I spoke too soon as the Kommando goes down to that Orc Slugga. That Nob making short work of the Kommando. Making sure Kommando Nobs don't think they're better than Slugga Nobs. But all things considered, that was a great engagement. That entire battle, everything was here on the center of the field, and it's a triple cap against Crewfinity. So all the stalling that Evil Wizard does right here, with Crewfinity bunched up like this, is buying him tons of victory points, buying him time to get back in here. His Kommando Nob's already back on the field and heading forward from the flanking position to try to defend this victory point as the truck gets healed up and gets ready for the next aggressive push here. There's just so much melee. Every battle kind of lives and dies on special attacks and globals right now. Mama Boy's coming in, knocking Sluggas down. I'm not sure to what extent he was expecting to see that really have an effect. Here comes everything. Both players now committing. Hardboy's going down on Sluggers. Stormboy's jumping in. Special Shooters knocking everything over. And now we're seeing Use Your Choppas on top of everything else. There's so much damage potential going down. But it looks like the Warboss is pulling ahead. Took out a squad of Sluggers. Stormboy's not managing to get obliterated, sending home with a single model. And the Kommando Nob now trapped up here with way too much melee to deal with. And that's kind of the engagements I was expecting to see, was where the Warboss just throws down those globals, and those special attacks and increased defense of a single melee squad can kind of turn the tide of the battle without really any issue. Wartruck was trying to pepper down that Warboss, but of course there's enough anti-vehicle in the ranks right now that it can't really stick around. Evil Wizard heading into Tier 3. Crewfinity not going to be anywhere close to that for the time being. What has Crewfinity been spending his power on? Let's see. He does have his Wartruck out. I think he did get knobs for everything. I'm not sure Evil Wizard had his Stormboy knobs out, but he's purchasing those now. Incomes are pretty much even up for the time being. Evil Wizard on the back foot, definitely. I'm not sure how he can approach this squad. Oh my gosh, this is not an engagement you want to play at all right now. Look at how quickly these squads are going down. The Painboy trying to do a little work here with both the exploding Git Sauce and his heal. Stormboy's trying to protect the truck, but the truck goes down. With the truck down and a squad of Sluggers down, this is just a losing scenario for Evil Wizard. May even lose his Stormboys on top of everything, and it was his game to lose. And it looks like he's trying to throw it now. He's got time. He's still about 120 points up on his opponent. But right now, I mean, just simply looking at the army... Oh my gosh, look at this rampway right here. This is just so many dead orcs. It's just... How can you even move up that rampway without stepping on bodies?
Go ahead, boss.
Kommando trying to continue to bleed out here. It's one thing that you always have to be kind of aware of as an orc player, is you kind of get into these melee situations where you have the confidence to consistently reinforce from your war truck. But the requisition drain can be pretty devastating if you're not on top of your combat. Now, Evil Wizard even engaging here seems like a bad idea. I feel like if anything, he should just fall back, maybe try to contest the Warboss, and maybe even Ninja Cap or something with these Sluggers. It's a lot to come back from right now for Evil Wizard. It's 2 squads against 5 right now. I'm not sure how he intends to get back into this. Stormboy's moving into position to try to obliterate some stuff. Rocks coming down. Oh my goodness! Whose rocks were they? Was that our... Oh, that had to be Evil Wizard's rocks. Did he actually... He got those Stormboys! What a gambit! A gambit that actually paid off there. I mean, 500 red is a lot to remove a squad, but... Man, if he needed something, and that's the start of evening this match out maybe just a little bit. He has the requisition and power... Wait, what is he going for a battle wagon? I think with only 2 squads on the field, you can't go for a battle wagon. How much red does he have? Can he call in commandos? I'd love to see a commando call in or something like that. Even a looted tank right now would be pretty decisive. There's nothing that the Warboss has for the time being that can deal with that, and with the support of Cloak and the Kommando Nob right there, I don't think a single squad of tank busters would be anywhere near enough to deal with that. But there's no question he has to be at this point holding out for a battle wagon. There's nothing else unless he's just that concerned with the victory points and not paying attention to his own income. Yeah, there it is. The battle wagon coming down. Nob's coming down for Crewfinity, however. And looks like the gen farm is going to fall, but I guess Evil Wizard's not really concerned with that, considering he's already got a super unit coming down. He's got the Commando on the far side, getting some decap action in. And again, just buying time with the Slugger Boys, trying to keep that Warboss from getting a cap down. Painboy escapes through the gauntlet of Sluggers and the Painboy without too much issue. I'm not sure these Sluggers of Evil Wizard will be as fortunate. It looks like this time around Crewfinity sees it, and now they're just getting torn limb from limb. There was a forward model, and I don't think that truck's going to be enough to finish it off. Kommando gets the cap on the southernmost victory point there. One lone Slugger Boy is the only Ork remaining, other than 2 hero units. Battle Wagon's coming out, but victory points are getting low rapidly. Kommando Nob sitting with just his special shooter. Stealthing at this point doesn't help you too much. They know where you are. They're coming for you. This is going to be a relentless pursuit right now. Stun goes down, allowing an out for that Commando. He just hits that retreat button, and there's a surprise in store coming in. Oh, they may have even seen that blast. Look at this wacky thing. It's just bouncing up the hill there. The Death Roller is spinning. The guns are shooting. Takes out the truck with impunity. But it is a 2-0 cap currently against Evil Wizard. Crewfinity has nothing to say. I mean, what else can he do but laugh at this right now? These knobs could certainly be more than the Battle Wagon can deal with. There it goes, rolling over everybody. What would an Ork mirror be without a Battle Wagon to finish it out? These shots, oh my gosh, they're doing so much damage. The slug is now down to just knobs, it looks like. Even so, there's just not enough map presence right now. There's a second squad of sluggers that just came out. This Ork Battle Wagon is getting torn apart, though, by these knobs. 20 points remain. I don't think there's anything he can do about this. The Warboss even knocking down the Commando, trying to make sure that nothing can happen right now. Where are the squads? There's nothing out here. Commando going for a decap, and oh, I guess the Warboss pulled off the chase. That could be a big mistake, considering that this was the moment he needed to get. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so close. Will he get there by the 8-point mark? He does. With 9 remaining, he should have 1 or 2 victory points out there. Crewfinity says, GG, well played. I guess he didn't see the decap going down over here, because the game is not over yet. 3 points now remain, with Slugger Boys continuing the decap, trying to do their last-ditch efforts, with the knobs starting to get a little low on health here. Has the Battle Wagon since been repaired? No, it hasn't. It's down to about half health right now. Everything hops on in, and that thing speeds away. Of course, the Battle Wagon gets more powerful, speedier, and activates more cannons. The more squads are within it. And you can actually see with that little indicator there on the side, those 3 lines mean 3 squads are residing within that great big Ork whatever. It's not, you can't even call it a fortress. It's just guns on wheels, really. And it's not going to allow that Warboss to get the cap in. Power Claw is coming out, though, with knobs and a Pain Boy coming in. I don't think that this Battle Wagon's going to be able to stick around too much longer. The big shot was enough to go down and stop those pursuing knobs. I can't believe this game's still going. Kommando Nob out here again. Now this time he doesn't have a rocks to save him, though. He needs to pop some squads out and start getting some caps. If this cap goes down, that's going to be it. Commando's getting beaten up. Oh, he lost track of his hero. He needed that thing to be up. And the Warboss now solo against this Battle Wagon. Rocks coming down on top of it even. I think he should have just dropped that on the point rather than directly on top of the Battle Wagon. But the Warboss is going to be more than enough to take out the remaining squads here. Although, oh no, I may have spoken too soon. A Slugger now comes in just in the nick of time. Stomp goes down. Oh my gosh. The cap goes down just as this point gets decapped. The Warboss is off the field, and the Slugger Boy Nob out here trying to do a quick patch job. There's just now 3 Sluggers and a Pain Boy. That's the entirety of Evil Wizard's army. Press this gravely injured Ork Battle Wagon, and Nob's now moving in. I don't think they can hold this time around. The knobs are coming in. It's only going to take a couple swings here to obliterate this thing. The Death Roller gets activated and starts knocking knobs over. But all it's going to take is a couple swings on the rear armor of this thing, and it's going to go down. It's trying to cut around best it can. Kommando Nob is out here on the field trying to harass Slugger Boys. But it looks like the knobs are going to get the better part of this engagement. The Sluggers just can't hold against this kind of melee firepower. I guess it's more of axe power than firepower. Evil Wizard finally drops the GG with all the tenacity that he could. Just barely hung on to that game. And looks like he threw in the towel as the final cap was going down. There was literally nothing he could do there. But, wow, what a ridiculous game. I love seeing battle wagons. Look, this thing is so... I wish it had a melee attack, though. I wish this arm could do something. If there was an ability or something to maybe knock things back with that blade arm. Oh my goodness. Those orcs! That was exactly what I wanted to see, I guess, from an orc battle. We got battle wagon, we got 2 rocks, we had so many orcs just smashing each other in the face. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of melee fun. It's really difficult in this game to call who's going to win those fights. It almost always comes down to those special attacks, who has the higher level and melee skill. All things you have to consider when you choose to engage as well. I wish I would have seen maybe a bit more of combined commando use, because I feel like the couple times we did see the stun grenade go down before an engagement, that was decisive. That caused simply Crewfinity had no answer but to retreat. You can't stand around stunned while melee gets in on you, even if you are the Warboss. But, good play. I think Evil Wizard just got a little cocky there in the middle and lost a couple squads, needlessly in this big engagement here where this truck went down. But all things considered, he almost brought it back around. I think a tank, probably the better choice, but you know, it's always good to bring a little flair into your game, and there's nothing about a battle wagon that doesn't say flair. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all the social medias, let you know when I'm streaming next time. Trying to stream pretty regularly on Tuesdays and Thursdays, mostly Dawn of War, but maybe a bit of something else from time to time. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.